Hello and a very warm welcome to the next episode of The Joy of Basing Essentials. Today I will show you how to create those little leaves that I have used in my Lonely Tree Kingdom Death scene some time ago. Here you can already see these little leaves that are very great and actually much better than using, for example, birch tree seeds, which a lot of people still do. So yeah, I will show you how to create not only these like red leaves, but also leaves in general, like these here. It is something that is very easily done, but it still needs a little bit of preparation. So here you can see all the materials that we will be needing. So one will be using paper and just regular cardboard, so to say. And the other way will be using real leaves that, especially now in autumn, are very easy to obtain. If you happen to see this not in autumn, you will also be able to get leaves like that in certain special hobby stores. So yeah, let's get right to the thing and see how we do this. Okay, for the simple way, all you need to have is a cardboard like this one here. You will be able to get this from a well-sorted hobby store. It is not a very thin paper. They actually come in very different shades, so it is good to have a selection of these. The closer the tone that you will be using of the paper is, the better the result will look, because we don't want to have just one type of leaf, like one color, but we want like a whole variety of them. You can achieve that by painting the leaves, but I really like also having something like a paper to start off, like in a different shade. Because if you look at all the leaves that we have found in real life, you will also see that they are very different. These here, some are more brown, some are more red, and I really like that diverse look of these leaves. So this is something that I also want to do. What you can also do is to color this paper already using an airbrush, for example, or just sprinkle it with different tones of browns and yellows and black. For now, to keep it very simple, and if you want to have this done quickly, I will just show you how to do it with a simple paper. So we will be utilizing these leaf punches here. They come from different manufacturers. I think these here are from PK Pro. So they are really great to punch out these leaves very quickly and mass produce a lot of the leaves. These leaf punches, they are like a stamp, and there is a little lever on top. And this here shows the silhouettes of the leaves that will be created when you punch that through a paper. So yeah, what I will do now is I just take the side of my paper here, and then I just start to punch it. The thicker the paper, the more power you will use. So, and to make the best use of the paper that you have, it is also good to just figure out how big the distance is that you need to do to have most out of your paper, so to say. I think with these it is that you have to aim for the first leaf that you do here. Yeah, and you see that this will create a really narrow pattern, so it will save you some of your paper. And yeah, what comes out of here, you can see it already. It's these little differentiated leaves. I think this is some kind of maple leaf, obviously. You will be able to find very different leaves in these punches. So these may be some birch trees, and here some oak trees, some oak leaves here. So yeah, whatever you want to have. The only important thing is that these have to be quite small for the scale that you're using. Leaves sometimes get surprisingly big, so sometimes you can also use bigger leaves than that, like bigger stems. But as a general rule of thumb, it's good to not overdo the scale, so it will still look realistically. After you have done one section, you can use some scissors or yeah, a metal ruler if you want to be very, very precise. And then you can cut these off like that, and then you will be good to go for the next round of leaves. If you do a whole lot of the leaves, you will end up with a nice little bag like this here. Here they are all the same color, so this is also something that is quite good for a project. But you can also mix different tones. Here, for example, I had more like yeah, darker colored leaves, and then I had some nearly orange colored leaves, but only a few. Because this is when leaves fall down from the tree, they usually tend to get darker the longer they are on the floor, on the ground. So yeah, a mixture like that is something that you want to try. Okay, the next step will be a little bit more complex, but it will also look more realistically, because we will be using the real thing, so the real material, which are obviously leaves. So I found these here in my yard. Now we have autumn in Berlin, and we have a really, really nice wine plant climbing up one of the houses here. All I had to do was just go around and grab some of these from the floor. These leaves here are still wet, which you can see from the shine, and we cannot use them straight away to use our leaf punches on them. In these leaves there is still quite a lot of water, and we want to draw the water out of here and preserve the pigment that's still in here. So we will be using some glycerin for that. You will be able to find glycerin in your pharmacy and well sorted hobby stores as well. This one here is 85%. The higher the number, the better, actually. Glycerin is a colorless, odorless, viscous liquid that is quite sweet tasting, and it is also non-toxic. It is widely used in the food industry as a sweetener, and can also be used in different pharmaceutical formulations. Or in this case, to preserve plants by replacing the water that is inside of the plant with itself and then evaporating. So yeah, just what we need. So yeah, for the next step you will be needing a container like that. I suggest you use a container that is disposable, like a plastic container, like this one here. And then I will put in some of the dried leaves. Okay, and now we will use the glycerin. We will mix the glycerin and water so that it is 1 part glycerin and 2 parts water. You can also use lukewarm water. That will help it to permeable the leaves in a quicker way. You only need enough to submerge the leaves. About 1 cup should be enough. Pour the solution into a flat container, as we have here, and place the leaves in the solution. And then you can also put the weight on the leaves to keep them submerged. It will take around 8 hours, maybe sometimes also a day, for the liquid to be completely absorbed in the leaf. And after that time you can start with the next step. So after being in here for around 8 hours, you can see that that these leaves have already really accepted the glycerin, and they look a little bit more more flexible as well. So the next step that we will do is we will align them on 2 or 3 layers of paper towel, kitchen paper, so to say. So yeah, we can get rid of the excess glycerin that is still trapped in here. Once you have aligned them like that, take another 2 layers of paper towel, fold it together, and just put it right on top of these. And then very gently push it down like that. Okay. Yeah, you can see we got rid of quite a lot of the glycerin that was in there. I will do another pass like this, and then we will be continuing. Okay, so after another drying pass, your leaves should look a little bit like that. Still a little bit shiny from the glycerin, but not dripping with the stuff. So this is already really good. And the next thing that you will need to find is a book like this one. It doesn't have to be David Bowie, obviously, but just a very thick book. Could be also an older book with a lot of non-colored pages like this one. This really soaks everything together. So here we will now put the leaves into this book here, like that. Not too many per side, and then yeah, just flick 3 or 4 more pages, and then start adding more leaves in between the pages. Okay, and this book now goes in a warm and dry place, and ideally you put some weight on top of it also, so all of these leaves are pushed down really nicely, and therefore they will dry out very flat. If you have done this step correctly, you can finally harvest something like that. You can see perfectly flat and yeah, also still very colorful leaves that are perfect for the next step, which is using the stamps again. Okay, and here it is also important to come up with a way on how to use the most out of this little leaf, the precious material. Now, don't worry too much if some of them overlap. Some of the trees might not be 100% complete. Nothing is perfect, so I really like that. Yeah, that very differentiated look that you can only find from the real thing, from real leaves. We will continue to cut these little leaves out. There are different types or like models from these leaf punches, but I think that this here is the most convenient way. It's a little thumb device. Just have to push the little lever on top, and yeah, it's very quickly done. And you can see that you need a whole lot of leaves actually to dry out before you can have a little bag like this one here. This was done from other type of leaf, probably oak. So yeah, you can collect them all in a little bag like this, and after a while you will actually have a really nice result. I also like to keep the different types of leaves separated, so this will go in one bag, and when I do these little more purple leaves I will put them in another bag. That way I can still use a mixture. I will also use, like, keep the mixture in an already mixed bag like this if needed. So that way I can always control the variety and the colors that are in my leaves that I will be using. Okay, so here you can see a big selection of different types of leaves that are also commercially available. Okay, so for example, there are some brass edged leaves like these here from Aztec. They are very nice, but the little thing here where the little branches within the leaf, they are quite visible, so to say, and actually this is only very flat, so the other side is also not textured at all, which is also a little bit can be a problem. The good thing is it's more sturdy, so you can put the brass just exactly how you want it in the angle that you want, but you still have to put a foundation on here and then paint that so it doesn't have this metallic shine to it anymore. Then I have also something like a vinyl type of leaf. These have also a little bit like a grainy texture to them, but they don't accept any more color naturally, so you need to also put a foundation, and then it is flexible, so I think that this might also chip off from here. Then there are some leaves from Frederikus Rex, which are laser cut. You can see them here. Problem is that they are absolutely flat, so to say. They have one color to them, similar to the ones that we have punched from paper. So it's nice, but I think that still it kind of misses this like natural feel to them. From the Plus model, there are those leaves that come in 1:35 scale. That's a Czech company, and they're really, really nice, but the problem is that this is really also quite pricey. So if you want to put a lot of leaves on your base, you will really end up a really poor man, so to say. Also, some of the dried foliage that I have found somewhere, these little seeds, obviously these are for free, but you still have to find that. Yeah, and then you can use that to just like put it off like that, and then put them onto the base where you want them. Last but not least are self-made leaves from the real life material that we have stamped with our leaf punches. You can see it here. I think that the good thing is that they look extremely diverse, just like the real thing, and also these little bits and pieces in between, they give this whole thing additional like realism to that. So really, really cool. So now, as a last thing that I will show you, if we want to apply that on a base, for example, like that, this is a very clever product. And on top of that, there is a very sticky adhesive, so you can very, very quickly grab elements, not only leaves like that, but also bigger elements, and they will just, you can just arrange them very nicely on the base that you want to dress up for the occasion. As always, we will be using some satin varnish to glue anything on a base. So I put a little bit satin varnish here to the side, and we use a regular brush. We apply the satin varnish, and I hope you're not very surprised about the two colors on this base. That was a demonstration piece that I have painted on the Mint Dragon to show how to do the ambient lamp on one base, because I didn't want to build two. So this is why it looks as it does. And then we can start to put down these leaves separately. And put them just exactly where we want to put them. You can use also just a damp brush, for example, and we'll do something similar, but with heavier elements that you need to put somewhere quickly, that these sticks are really, really handy actually. They can lift a lot more weight than the brush can. Okay, for the other side, I will add some of these more saturated leaves. So one scene is the night scene, and the other one is the day scene. Okay. Yeah, looks like that. If you want to improve the realism of your base, you can also use some of that very, very fine dust that you have created doing these leaves, and then you can just sprinkle it over the base so they find their own way. Okay, I hope you liked this tutorial. Please leave a like if you liked the content. Please consider subscribing to my channel if you want to stay updated. And if you really, really like what you see, you can also consider to support me on Patreon to see how this base, for example, also was built, like the whole process of building and painting this base. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy your autumn and have a great day. Goodbye.